I would say I was 14 years old. This is when the major shift happened in my life. What happened is I was at the Wednesday Bible study, and there was this guy. He was he wasn't the preacher. He was like the youth Bible teacher, right? I would say he was late 20s, early 30s. I was 14. So we're reading through the Bible. That's what we have, what we call, free time, where we read the Bible and ask questions at the end of the reading. And then we get into the group reading. So I start reading the Bible, and boom, it was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I found a contradiction. I found two contradictions. And so I read this verse and I say, okay. And I turn the page, I keep on reading, and then, wait a minute, same story, different numbers, same person, different story. What? So I raised my hand, and he said, yeah, how can I help you? And I said, well, I found these two verses, and this one says this, and that one says this, but they clearly contradict each other. The guy looks at it. He looks at this page. He looks at the other page, and he puts his hand on his chin, and he says, huh, I didn't even know that was in the Bible. What? You're the guy. You're the Bible teacher. You're the leader of this whole thing. One, you didn't know that was in the Bible. And two, you didn't know there was contradictions in the Bible. And I kind of looked at him like, what? It's like, you're driving in the car with a guy, he's holding the steering wheel, and you say, how do you drive? And the guy says, I don't know how to drive. I don't know. It's scary, right? When somebody is supposed to be teaching you the Bible and he doesn't know that there's a contradiction. So I'm like, okay, so what do we do? How do we rectify this? What am I supposed to do? I need answers. The guy tells me, well, in this case, you just gotta have faith. And that's when I checked out. Spiritually, I just said, the Bible can't even defend itself. But you want me to show up here every Wednesday and talk about something that I should just have faith in. Okay, so why do I even show up? I can have faith without even reading the Bible, right? So from that point, 14 years old, I still go to Bible study on Wednesdays. I still go to Friday youth night. I still go to Sunday church, but there's nothing here. Gone. It's gone completely, right? So my life was football, surfing, girls, high school, normal American kid. I could care less about religion at this point. I start to do my own thing. I get in trouble. I get around the wrong crowd. I start smoking weed and drinking and stuff like that. And I just have no moral compass in life. Zero. And so I thought the best way to remedy that is to go into the military. So I joined the military. Long story short, I do my time in the Army. I get out. I'm not going to say that joining the military really was bad for me, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about responsibility and accountability. I learned about how to be a man and step up and serve and be humble. But it did nothing for my spirituality. Zero, nothing. So fast forward, after I get out of the military, what happens? Same thing. I get around the wrong crowd, go back to drinking, smoking weed, and it was even worse. I had no feeling about anything. I was going through women left and right. I was smoking weed. I was drinking. I was just being careless. I had a job. I had a place. I was okay. But there was nothing there spiritually. I pulled an armed robbery. Actually pulled an armed robbery. I didn't need the money. It was for the thrill. I was bored with my life. I didn't care anymore. I didn't care. So I went to prison. Before that, I've never been arrested. I'd never done a crime. I've never did it 1 hour in jail. Never. But here I was. And I got sent away to prison, to a maximum security prison in Walla Walla. It's called Walla Walla State Penitentiary, WSP. And I went through a shock. A person that's never been to jail before, it's like, wow, not only did I go to jail, you know, somebody might do something stupid, get in a fight and do a day in jail or something. Okay, now I'm in the big house. I'm in prison. I'm in there with killers, thieves, drug dealers, organized crime guys, just crazy, gang members, white supremacists, you name it, Mexican mafia, everything. So prison is different than prison life and rules. The convict code is way different than anything on the outside. Everything is race segregated. You go with your race. You eat with, if you're white, you eat with the white people. You go to the white part of the yard. If you're black, you eat over on the black section. You go to the black side. That's just how it is. So fast forward. There's not a moment for you to relax in prison. It's this aggression and tension that you can see, hear, feel every single moment. Prison is exhausting, mentally and emotionally, completely exhausting. You got to be on guard every single second. And even when you're in your cell with the gate, you know, you don't know what's on the mind of your cellmate. Could get a bad letter, bad news. The guy's in there for life. He doesn't care. He's got 12 years to do. And, you know, it's a terrible place to be. Anyway, when people are in prison, like I said, they go to the white. If you're white, you go with the white people. If you're black, you go to the black section. If you're a Hispanic, you go with the Hispanic section. The thing is, I never agreed with any of that because I had never been like with white supremacist people. Like I never even had a friend that was a white supremacist ever. So what I did, I just did the Sigma male thing. You know, I was, asserting myself as a dominant male in the prison. So I'm doing my thing. I'm just running, I'm going around the track. And I see this guy across the track. Turkish guy named Omar. I didn't know him though. I'm just telling you now. The guy had a mustache like this, like what they call it, handlebars, and went down all the way. No beard, no hair. He shaved his head bald. 5 black guys behind him. He cuts the track in half, and he's headed straight for me. I'm like, oh, here we go. Been to the hole 3 times, but this looks serious. These guys look like they're about to roll me up, like they're coming for business. So he cuts the track. He's running. He's coming straight for me. I stop, and I prepare myself. I'm kind of sizing them up as they're walking to me. I'm going to catch one of them or 2 of them. I'm here for a short time, but for sure, I'm not going to die. No, I'm going to give them a hell of a fight. So they get about 6 feet from me, and I'm like, okay. And Omar says, oh, no. We didn't come for that. Whoa, okay. Okay, I can see how it looks. No. I just wanted to talk to you, man. And I was like, talk to me about what? Why does it take 6 people to talk to me? He said, oh man, my bad. That looked wrong. And I understand. Can I just speak with you for about 10 minutes? And I said, well, yeah, as long as it's just you. Sure. Cool. So we start to walk the track. And he asked me, what do you know about Islam? And being raised upper class, having everything that I ever wanted in life, kind of sheltered in my own white Christian type of world, I said, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I know nothing about Islam. Nothing. So subhanAllah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to guide somebody, He does it in this amazing, amazing way that is almost exactly for or designed for that particular person. I had always been a person that wondered about the universe. I've always been a person that loves nature, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before Islam. And so he would say things like, look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the sun away out of the expanding universe. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we created the universe, and it is expanding and expanding, and it expands. And Omar would say, look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the sun 93 million miles away from Earth, and the moon 220,000 odd miles away from Earth. But out of the vastness of the universe, Allah sometimes puts them together for eclipse. And I was just like, whoa, that's deep. And so he had my attention, and he saw that he had my attention. So he always used to talk about nature and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talking about Surah Ar-Rahman and other surahs. So fast forward, him and I would always come out, and he would be the first person that I would look for. And we would talk the entire time. We would walk and talk. And it was always about Islam. Always about Islam. Something in my heart said, it was a whisper from the shaitan. Why do you let this guy talk to you this way? Like, you're a Christian, man. Stand up for Christianity. He's making a lot of sense, but surely you can poke some holes in his argument. Long story short, I couldn't. And I consider myself versed on Christianity and the Bible. But everything that I tried to argue, he would dead it immediately. With proof from the Bible and the Qur'an. So weeks went by. He said to me, he gifted me a Qur'an. He said, take care of this Qur'an. This is a gift don't let anybody touch it. This is for you to read. And I said, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I went into the back, and I went to the back of the Qur'an, and I looked up names. Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Mary, Job. And I was, just going through, and the thing that I noticed was these stories are all the same in the Bible. Like, same version, same events, same people, to the T. And I said, and I got discouraged. I remember getting discouraged and saying, oh man, if it's like the Bible, it's going to have, what was it called? What did I just say? I lost the word. Contradictory verses. There it is. It's going to have contradictions in it. So I was like, and anyway, I talked to Omar about it, and he explained how the Quran was revealed, and it was still preserved in his language. It was memorized and everything, by millions of people. So I read the book so much. I read this Quran so much, maybe because I didn't have nothing to do because I was in prison in my cell. But I think that I was really taken by the Quran. For example, I would read the Qurans, right after breakfast. Get to my cell, go straight to my Quran and just read. And so my cellmate was like, what are you reading? I said, I'm reading the Quran. He was like, oh man, what are you doing, man? Quran? No, that's for them, not us. So there was definitely an element of the whispers of the shaitan. Anyway, so I read the Quran, very impressed by the Quran, especially Surah Ar-Rahman. That really touched me. Surah Ar-Rahman was really, out of all the surahs, that was the one that was, that my heart most loved. So he came to me one day and he said, check this out, man. How about if I invite you to Jummah? What's Jummah? It's kind of like Sunday church, but we do it on Friday. And I said, sure. Like, I have nowhere to go. I'm in prison. Sure. I wanted to, though. Not like I didn't have nothing to do, nothing better to do, but I wanted to because, him and I had been speaking at this time for about 3 months. And I was very impressed with Islam. Very impressed with Islam. But the whispers of the shaitan, me being a white American, it was really hard. Yeah, Islam is this, it's nice, but that's not for you, though. You can't be a Muslim because you're white. That was in 91. A lot of people think that today. White people think that today. They think it's just a religion of brown people, or it's a religion of terrorism, or it's a religion of death, or whatever they think. It's not true. for everybody. It's universal. So I went to Jummah as a non-Muslim. The first time I went to the masjid was as a non-Muslim. Got there, first thing that happened, I heard the adhan. And that brother was calling the adhan from the heart, and I just, it hit me. And so, next thing, Omar says, oh, come on over here, man. I'm going to show you how to make wudu, what we do before we pray. I'm like, okay. And, he starts to make wudu, and, and I kind of stopped right there, and I was like, we don't do that before church. I mean, you could come from the club or, with your wife or whatever, and you would go straight to church, where these people are washing themselves and they're purifying themselves before they pray, So I was impressed with that. So we get inside the main prayer hall, and he says, look, okay, this is what's going to happen. The imam is going to stand up. He's going to give a sermon. He's going to talk about Islam. He's going to talk about whatever he's going to talk about. And then we're going to get up and we're going to pray. The imam's going to recite Qur'an. And I said, oh, okay. He's going to pick up the book and he's going to read, while he's doing the khutbah. He said, no. This imam, he memorized the Qur'an, the whole Qur'an. I said, that book that you gave me, this thick? Come on, man. No. He said, not only him, there's millions of people throughout the Islamic history that have memorized the Qur'an. And I was like, from cover to cover? He was like, yeah, word for word, without a mistake. And so that was another one that was like, went straight to my heart. These people love their books so much that they memorize it. Whereas if somebody recites the Qur'an wrong, somebody in the back will correct them. If that's not a tradition of remembering and preserving a book, I don't know what is, right? Ask a Christian to recite the book of Genesis, the whole chapter. No, I don't know Genesis, right? That's my point. So I was very impressed by that. Anyways, I'm sitting on the wall with Omar. He gives the khutbah. I don't even remember what he was talking about. He's done. He calls the iqamah. Gets up after he calls the iqamah. Everybody's lining up. So Omar says, okay, listen, man, just sit over to the side. We're going to line up in prayer in these lines, and we're going to pray, and then we'll go back. I said, okay, fine. Imam says, Allahu Akbar. And these men that are just giants, like solid savages, man, as soon as they go into salah, no matter what they did, killers, drug dealers, assault, robbery, whatever, they became humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I just, wow. And so although Omar told me to sit on the wall, no, I'm not going to sit on the wall. I came to Jummah for a purpose. I want the whole experience. I want to see everything. So what I did is I got up while they were praying, and I went to the first row, and I did this. I went to the first row on the side, and I just want to look at them. And I was like to myself, wow, man, these people are focused. Like, nothing else matters right now. Nothing. They are focused. They are praying. And the way the imam was his tilawah, the way he was reciting the Qur'an, I was just like, man, just one thing after the other, one thing after the adhan, calling the prayer, the way he recited the Qur'an, the humbleness inside of the prayer. It amazed me. But if anybody were to ask me, Ali, what did it for you? What was the one thing which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened your heart to Islam? And I'll tell you this honestly. When I saw these believers, these Muslim brothers in the prison, when they all went down in unison, all together, in sujood, That was it. That was it. I saw that and literally my jaw was, whoa. Again, the wudu, reciting the Qur'an, calling each other, the adhan, to prayer, being humble. And now they put their face on the ground in the adoration of their Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what did it for me. That's what did it for me. I thought to myself, these people have washed themselves, they had purified themselves, they have recited the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have recited the holy book, they have been humble in their prayer and focused, khushu'. And they're putting their face on the ground. And that was it for me. That was it. My heart completely just opened to the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I decided right there. At that point, after I saw the sujood and it just resonated within my soul and my heart, I said to myself, Islam has now become irresistible to me. Completely irresistible. Gotta have it. And so Omar came up after the salah and he said, what do you think? And I said to him, I know I'm white, but I have to be a Muslim. I have to. And you are just going to have to make an exception for me. Because I want to be a Muslim. Whether anybody accepts me or not, I gotta be a Muslim. I'm not leaving here until I become a Muslim. One way or the other. SubhanAllah, brothers were like, Allahu Akbar. SubhanAllah. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. So we all sat in a circle that day. October 1991. And I pronounced the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Going to prison to receive Islam was the best thing that ever happened in my life.